Valley President heading, maintain 3,500 till established on the localizer. Cleared the ILS 32 approach.
There are a couple episodes in my career that I'm not proud of, but I think it always results in me sitting down with the students saying, this is the bad attitude, this is what happened there. And it wasn't about, it's good that you saw anything. It's like, this is, how did I, like after all this time, how did I succumb to these things that we read about in the textbooks? I think that's the important lesson, you know. There's only
I'd love to hear one of those.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Maybe another time. I mean, in short, there was one where I was flying with a student to Los Angeles and back. So it was a 5-day trip, and he's a huge football fan. He wanted to get back for the Super Bowl, which was happening that day. I was wanting to get back to my family, and we landed in Paso Robles for lunch. And when we landed, there was a cloud layer with the tops around 2,000 feet and the bases around 1,500 feet with pretty large holes. And by the time we came out of lunch, there was still some holes. They were closed in a little bit, but we could still see blue sky. And I remembered the tops at 2,000 feet. And I thought to myself, should we file IFR? We could file IFR. We have an IFR capable airplane. I'm IFR qualified. It's not perfect for the student, but we could do it. And then looking at the clock, it's like, oh, he wants to get home for the Super Bowl. Why don't we just pop through one of those holes? I know what the tops are. We'll just go VFR on, you know, on top, over the top until we get back to the Bay Area. And if I have to, I'll get an instrument approach to get back down through it. So, you know, all of that is still reasonably okay decision-making. I don't think I made a bad decision yet, but as we were climbing through the hole, I realized the hole was thicker than I thought, and the climb performance of the airplane wasn't sufficient. So we actually entered the clouds. And I was doing the classic thing of pulling and pulling and pulling until I actually heard the stall horn, right? Because I was looking out the window at the top of the clouds, and my student said, are we supposed to be doing this? And it was like, no, we're not, you know, and that was just a really bad moment. And I'm thinking of all the horrible mistakes I just made, because even though I'm IFR qualified and in an IFR capable airplane, we're not on an instrument flight plan. There is terrain around, so we're not protected. We're not on any kind of departure procedure. We're just, you know, I generally knew where the terrain was. And the tops were not what they were before we went to lunch. We're now 2,500 feet and climbing, and we're still in the clouds. So I contacted air traffic control and let them know. First I got flight following, and then I let them know that we needed an IFR clearance. And once I was talking to them and they had radar contact, I was reasonably confident that we weren't going to hit terrain while they worked out the IFR thing. But how did that happen? You know, that happened only 3 years ago. So that happened after, you know, a decade and a half of teaching and several thousand hours, and I still made that mistake with a student on board. It's not a moment I'm proud of. But it was definitely something to talk about with him. And the lesson was that we were just rushing to get home, and we'd been a little complacent. We'd been in the plane together for 5 days. So anyway, not a proud moment to end on, but that's where I'm going to end it, guys.
We can learn from that.
We all have the potential of making those bad decisions, no matter how much time we have in any situation.
Yeah, 100%. It's always the hour in front of you that counts, right? The more you fly, the more you realize it doesn't matter how many are behind you. It's just the one in front that matters.
Look up in the sky, and there you are. Look up in the sky, and there you are. Floating like an angel on the air.